So I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order here at 6:16 p.m. The Rockland Fire Protection District Board of Trustees regular meeting, Monday, February 8th, 2021. And in attendance we have myself, Trustee Malinowski, Trustee Bernstein. Trustee Johnson is not going to be here, he's on duty. Chiefs Ryan Seaver, Carl Snowman Treasurer, Attorney Jim Wargo. Others in attendance, we have Mr. Seaman. I'm sorry, I forget your name every single time.
How could you?
I have a terrible memory. And it's been a while since you've been here last.
Yes, because I didn't know that you had the meetings like here, and then I thought you were doing Zoom. Don't care.
Mr. Russ, Mr. Rogers, and I think that's everyone. All right, and if we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Amy, have you reviewed the minutes? You good? I'm good. Any corrections or anything? Looks good to me too. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Rockland Fire Protection District Board of Trustees for Monday, January 11th, 2021. And we'll just do roll call vote. Trustee Bernstein?
Yes.
Trustee Malinowski? Yes. And Trustee Johnson is not here. Moving on to Chief's report. Chief Brian, do you want to go first since you got a little bit of time crunch?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Thanks. So you should have the reports in front of you for the month of January. Excuse me. So we had a total of 5 calls on 46K side. So if you have any questions on that. And I think on the back side is the response time chart. Hopefully that's to everybody's liking based on what we talked about. And then just department-wise, not a whole lot going on. We're starting to open things up training-wise, so that's a good thing because it's been pretty much shut down for 10 months. So a lot of the training is starting to reopen, which is good. We've been down 4 people because of retirement, so we just put 2 new guys on. So 2 more to go. And heavy in the budget. I know our finance director has been working with Lake Forest finance director, so we can come up with a number for the formula for the payments starting May 1st. So once those 2 are in agreement, we'll reach out and get you guys a number for the increase. And other than that, our budget, fire department budget's going well.
So any ETA on that review?
Well, there was a draft sent out today. I don't know if Chief Siebert saw it or not. I got it from my finance person. That came from his finance person. So once my finance guy says this is it, then we can probably send it out. So, but
yeah, I was thinking they were talking about early March to have everything all set and send it out March 1st for.
Okay, so potential.
Because the next payment will be due on April 1.
Okay.
So that's basically what they would do is they'll come up with the formula, put it out, and then because they won't have budgets solidified yet, it'll be like an asterisk there depending on what the final budget is approved. Most likely they will be approved. If there needs to be any variance or that, then we'll catch up on the July payment. That's what was explained to me.
Okay, so potential to review at next month's meeting.
Yeah, I would think that you should have something. I don't know, don't hold me to it, but
no, yeah.
they got to get something before April 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Lake Forest side on 42K we had 11 calls, 10 ambulance calls, 1 service call. We went up and helped out in 46K twice. And same thing, that hopefully, like I said, I think the time thing we've got it set up here where it's producing a good graphic for those emergent responses for you guys. We're expecting to take delivery of our new ambulance in the next couple of days. Had a little snafu at the factory. They painted it Ford red instead of the red color we wanted. So it's coming up from North Carolina. We hope to get that soon. It'll be a nice addition and have a nice new four-wheel drive Ford ambulance. It'll be servicing people up here.
No, it's coming handy with weather like this.
Yeah, so it's been, we're looking forward to getting that. Other than that, we're, the COVID vaccinations, we're finishing up the last round of people that kind of went later, and then I would say by, mid-February, everybody that wanted it will have their second, and some of us, like I completed my second on the 19th of January, so it's good step forward, and, it'll be nice when we have everybody that wanted it vaccinated.
Nice. I just had one thing I noticed, and I can't remember, this month, it seems like it's Lake Forest report, I don't know if last month it was Libertyville's or also Lake Forest. I have noticed sometimes on the back, one or two of the calls get dropped off. Like on the front, you got a total of 11, on the
Because
back,
they're
you got
emergent and
10.
not, they only wanted the time response for the emergent one.
Okay.
If you put the non-emergent one, like on a service call, I know the one, I think they're the one I actually responded to one of our guests here to help her out with something that is just me and my car going non-emergent, so
Got it.
it'll skew the numbers.
Okay, that might be it, I didn't notice that
I'm
correlation.
assuming that's what
probably
it is.
Okay, just wanted to check on that. Alright, don't really have any questions, Amy? No, good, alright. And we'll go ahead and move on to public comment. Now, district trustees allocate time for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the fire district trustees on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Anybody like to take advantage of public comment? Mr. Rogers?
I have a few, and I've made copies of them to give you when I'm done, so
Sure.
that we go through them. So they're kind of questions, if you don't want to answer them, I'll leave them in the form of a question. If you'd like to answer them, that would be great. Just some general curiosity questions. I wondered if you've looked at finding a way to turn off the lights in the building at night since the building is empty. Every time I drive by, I see lights on inside the building, and since it's a vacant building, it's just feeding ComEd money they don't need. Again, you don't have to answer these. I'm going to give you copies of these. I'm just going to rattle them off. I was wondering when the generator was last serviced and when it was the last time it was tested, so that the generator stays in good shape. There's a service schedule on it, and it should be exercised fairly frequently to keep it running properly. It's a significant investment and expensive generator. I was wondering with the for lease sign up, if it still is indeed for lease, and if the company listed is actually the agent. Let me, if you don't mind, I'll run through them.
No, yeah, please, yeah, I'm taking notes here.
We'll go back to them. I'm wondering why you guys have not done another RFP for the sale of the building. I've actually been contacted by 2 people who I actually don't know the one, I knew the other, that would like to make an offer on the building and wondered if the board was going to do an RFP for the building. Additionally, I was told, and I actually saw, somebody sent me a little video clip, that the building was used as a COVID center for Lake Bluff firemen who might contract COVID, and one actually did. And I was just wondering, since Lake Forest and Libertyville are actually our first responders, I wonder if they had been offered use of the building, and if they hadn't, I wondered why they hadn't. I would think that you would want to offer the building to the people that service us first. Next, I was wondering what the long and the short-term plan is for this building. Whether you, what you have plans for, what you seem to be looking at short and long term, like I said, from the lease to 2 different people that seem to still have interest in the Titanic here. I can't imagine why, to be quite honest with you. Every month that goes by, it's just deteriorating. I also wonder if all of the trustees actually live in the district. I was told that Trustee Johnson had moved to Wisconsin, and I wondered if you guys, if everybody lived in the district. I think that's mandatory to be a trustee. And again, this is not fact, it was someone who told me, and in fact, I actually saw Chris on a job earlier in the summer. He told me he was moving to Wisconsin, and I didn't even know he was going to be on the board. So if he's not living in the district, I don't know that he should be on the board. I was wondering what the status of the study was that the board commissioned funds for, I was wondering when it might be completed and how much the end cost of the study was going to end up being. Additionally, in this one, I asked the two trustees that are here tonight. I know when I was a trustee, I took the time and went to both Lake Forest and Libertyville, met with the chiefs and walked through the building, looked at the equipment, talked to them a little bit about how things were dispatched out of district or out of Station 3, and met with Chief Siebert over there, looked how their operation was. And I wondered if either one of you have taken the time to go to Lake Forest and or Libertyville and meet with them and see how they service our area. So if residents ask you, you can say you've been to the station. So I just wondered if either one of you taken the time to go to Libertyville or Lake Forest and kind of get together with them and listen to how they get to us, so you guys, you know, can answer anybody's questions that might say, you can say, yep, I've been there, and I know what's going on. Either one of you taking the time to do that?
I have not yet, no.
Okay. I
Is
just wondering.
that under your list?
Yeah, I was just wondering if, again, if you don't want to answer, you don't certainly.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I think it's been pretty apparent that I was a volunteer here just prior to the
Understood,
shutdown,
but I
so
didn't know
I
since you.
was pretty aware of how both those departments function, having trained at Lake Forest, using their tower and, you know, being involved in fire dispatch and everything here, so.
Okay, just, so anyhow, I just think it's real worthwhile. At one point, Carl Snowden and I, we went out to the dispatch center, and I thought that was very educational to see how the dispatch center operates and meet those folks. That again is something that I think as a trustee is really worthwhile taking a look at. Also asked by somebody in the neighborhood, so I said I would ask, asking for a friend as they say, when does the 2-year term end, and will the board advertise it and supply petitions for those who have interest in running for it? So maybe you guys can talk about that at a future point here. I'll try to get through these quick, and then I'll give you copies of them. The other one is that there's, I've heard from several people as well that the board is intending on trying to reactivate the station with a single engine or something else, and I wondered if that was true, and if it is, I wondered where you were gonna get volunteers from, as more and more districts don't allow their firefighters to moonlight. I'd like to know where you would get ambulance service from, because I'm guessing if you were to go that route, that these guys next to me probably wouldn't be as interested in providing ambulance service, although I can't speak on their behalf. And how would you justify making such a move, considering the district averages about 1 call every other day? I also, again, on one of the videos I watched that you guys were asking for a lot of different statistics and documentations from Lake Forest and Libertyville, yet nobody really seemed to care about it when the volunteer fire department was running. And wanted to let you guys know, maybe you do know or don't know, that KFD was about a year behind on their state filings. So as far as being statistically up to date and things going, when these guys took over, we had about a year in the rears of filings with the state. I also wondered if you talked to your council here about the cost of attempting to break the contract with Libertyville and Lake Forest, if that's the route you were going to go, and if you've asked your council as to what the response in court might be if you attempt to take the service of 2 full-time, fully trained fire and paramedic services from the residents and replace it with a volunteer department, still having to subcontract ambulance service. Only 2 more here, real quick. As what type of study you would plan on undertaking to show that the volunteer department would provide faster, better, and more trained professional service than we currently get, and are fortunate to have with Libertyville and Lake Forest. I assume that study would also supply costs. And with the large amount of snow and cold, I was thinking about this today. This is a recent question, actually on the way over here I was thinking about, and cold, well not recently, earlier today. With the cold and the snow we received, have you guys as a board talked to Libertyville and Lake Forest about the fire hydrants being dug out or accessible should they need to get to them? Again, way back when I was road commissioner, I had made the offer to take the township backhoe and backhoe to the fire hydrants so that if they did need to get to them, that if there was a case of a house fire, that they could get to them. So I would wonder if you would contact the fire department and find out. It would be terrible if they had to get to a fire hydrant and they couldn't. Additionally, with the fire hydrants, the roads. I'm sure you've, in fact, I watched you experience this, Marson, as you
Just,
came around, you
was it
came
about a
around the
week ago,
corner
right?
and
Yeah.
barely made it up the road.
I know.
I think everybody is screaming in Knollwood because for some reason they think that I'm still the road commissioner. They've been screaming in my direction as how horrible the roads are. And I would ask that this district put in writing some type of a letter and or complaint to the road district indicating that it is in the public safety of all of our residents to have these roads properly taken care of. From what I've been told, Mr. Anderson has basically washed his hands of snow plowing. Trucks are broken, he doesn't seem to care. And I care if somebody needs to get an ambulance or a fire truck. And
100%.
until Pete gets the four-wheel drive ambulance, it would be a pretty bad scene if they were stuck spinning their wheels on the road and couldn't get down them. So I would ask that you guys take diligent and authoritative action to the road district and explain to them as well, maybe with the assistance of these two gentlemen, that the roads are properly cleared in a timely manner for service. The other thing I was thinking of the other day, and Carl will remember this, I'm wondering when the last time you guys checked the drain pits up on the flat roof. If they're not checked regularly and they clog, the roof will start to leak. I inherited that when I first came on board here. We had to make some roof repairs, and those drain pits need to be attended to at least once a month. And in the wintertime, you obviously have to be extra careful with them as to not crack the membrane on the roof. In the summer, it's a little bit easier to deal with, but certainly once it starts to thaw, I would say you should get somebody up there to check those drain pits and make sure that it's draining properly, so you don't get a bunch of buildup and end up having a roof leak or a collapse. And then lastly, and I'll give you a copy of this, when Jeff Urzo had an electrical fire over on Burris a number of months ago, which I think he was upset about, and his wife was happy that they got to remodel the kitchen. He said it was about 3 minutes that they were there and were able to properly handle and attend to an electrical fire. Kudos. I hope I never see you at my place, but if I do, 3 minutes is pretty damn good. I think if it had been longer, he probably would have lost his house. Also, I've received 2 now since these guys have been on board fire inspections for my building. Nobody's ever been in. Your guys were great, or your gentleman was great. Brought some things to my attention that, you know, when you work in a shop every day, you really don't look at certain things. And having somebody look around and bring some things to my attention was really great. And that's the first inspections I've ever had at our property. So thank you for extending me the additional time. I know I probably went over my time. I'll give you guys all a copy of
Yes, please.
my things. I would love to hear from any one of you. I'm available to meet with you, Trustee Bernstein, or you, Trustee Malinowski, on any of these issues, and I would love to hear your responses to them. There you go. Made one for you, sir. You ever hear from Brian O'Connor?
Oh, yeah.
If you do, tell him I say hey.
I will say that.
There you go.
So Dan, I'll go ahead and see if there's any other public comment, and I think I can address a couple of these for you. If you don't mind if I go in that order.
I am fine, and if you don't want to address them, you certainly don't have to. If you do, I'm happy to sit here and
No, there's
listen
nothing-
and go through them,
I
so.
don't think the board's got anything to hide, so I think most of these I could address. I don't have any information right now, I can get it to you, but that's not a problem.
Okay.
Would anyone else like to take advantage of public comment? Okay. So before we move on, Jim, I'll just...
I would
Yes.
ask for additional comment.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is February of 2021. The February of 2020 minutes are not posted to your website. The minutes of prior months are posted, the minutes of subsequent months are posted, but there's that hole in your website. I'm not talking about legal responsibility here, I'm talking about protocol, I'm talking about transparency and communication. The minutes referred to County Board Representative Brummel, B-R-U-M, which was a misspelling. The B had to be crossed off. I understand the minutes are taken by the lawyer and they're posted by Mrs. Snowblin, so the board members, the elected trustee who's designated as secretary, has very little to do except stay out of the way and let it happen. Cross off the B, send it to Mrs. Snowblin, get it posted. Now, I don't care what was discussed a year ago in this meeting. My question is, why hasn't it been posted? Don't care about it getting posted, I want to know why it wasn't posted. We have 2 contractors to do this, and it didn't get done. Shields Township doesn't pay anybody to do this stuff, they do it all themselves. The elected clerk, they call it clerk instead of the secretary, that person takes the notes and manages it. Why can't you get it done? This is important because the apparently now defunct Citizens Review Committee was hypercritical of the Rogers Board, which handled masterfully a very complex task. Here, we have a very simple task that didn't get done. So my question, I repeat, is why not? My second point, just 2 I have, it was something I wrote in an email 15 months ago, repeated 12 months ago in an email, repeated a 3rd time 7 months in an email, and have never received a response. It is a proposal that is easily implemented and cost-free, and would facilitate the transparency that was touted on yard signs that littered Knollwood during a campaign some years ago, which is to post the unapproved minutes of this meeting. Presumably the lawyer writes up the minutes promptly so they could be posted the very next day, and people like me would be able to know about it. I didn't know that these things were recorded. I don't see that it's being recorded. Maybe it is being recorded tonight, posted to YouTube. I don't know. I didn't know about it. But the unapproved minutes could be posted. The lawyer writes them already. Mrs. Snowblin posts them already. There's no incremental cost. It would facilitate transparency. It would serve the purpose of maintaining integrity to your campaign promises, honesty, responsibility, as it said on the yard signs. And I would be able to know what we're talking about. We wouldn't, Mr. Rogers is talking about gossip and rumors. Why don't you just say? Why don't you be transparent? Post the unapproved minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russ. All right. Anybody else, public comment? All right. Mr. Rogers, let's see, lights on in the building. I believe we maintain a minimum amount of lighting, Carl?
Yeah, in these areas, it's just the emergency lights, and I think there's a little bit more lighting in the bays, but it is, it would certainly be possible to have an electrician come in and disable some of the lights.
Yeah,
But that's what would be required.
we'd have to take a look, you know, what it would cost to get that done versus what we paid. But kind of tied in with that, the IGA that we have with like Clough right now, they're paying for all the,
They're paying the utility.
yeah, paying for all the utilities. Generator service. So the generator right now is turned off, just been off, what, 2 years now?
No.
Year and a half?
Oh.
I'm sorry?
It's not doing automatic
Yeah, I think it was last winter, just because of the cold, we turned off the automatic test function. But this, there are calls in to multiple, I'll say contractors to get the building checked out. There are some things that are overdue, but that should be taken care of this week. I did put those calls in.
Because that generator's pretty expensive.
Understood. The four lease sign agents, that contract has expired, lease sign's up there, no one's able to take it down. At least not anyone on the board. Additional cost, I'm sure, to take that down. RFP for the building, that's been months and months of discussion, currently as line item 11, and it's been in discussion since, pretty much every meeting. As a COVID center, that's an IGA that we have with Lake Bluff.
Well, so with the RFP, are you gonna put it out for bid again?
So that's a discussion the board's been having continuously for the past several months and probably going forward. So no, there is no RFP.
And you're not intending to do it, you're just gonna sit on the
I
Titanic?
didn't say which way the board's going, one way or the other.
All right, thank you.
As far as the, using the building as a quarantine, Lake Bluff has an IGA in place. Lake Forest and Libertyville were asked if they wanted to use the building for anything, both declined. Lake Bluff approached the board, and that's what came with it. Short and long-term plan for the building, again, that's under agenda item 11 and 12 this month, and probably similar agenda items from previous months, and it's been discussed pretty much every month. Current trustees, residents in district, yes. Trustee Johnson has not moved, but yes, it is no secret that he is building a home in Wisconsin, but still lives in the district.
He does, okay.
He does, 100%. At least I will go on and say on his behalf, he still lives in the district. I don't think he even has a foundation built yet, so I don't think you can
Again, I'm just
live on
coming
just
to.
property and taxes.
just
No,
coming-
yeah, it's hearsay, you gotta clear it up, absolutely.
That's right.
Study the board is commissioned funds for, yes, funds were approved to not exceed,
So it wasn't very much.
It wasn't very
just
much.
For office supplies.
yeah, and that is agenda item 9, which trustee Johnson has been working on. Nothing has been billed yet. And I don't have an ETA, so I don't know. Taking time to use Lake Forest Libertyville, we discussed that. 2-year trustee term ends. I mean, that's already expired to get the petitions in. There was only one petition that was submitted.
I mean, it expires at the end of April. I mean,
That's when the
this
2-year
is
term
April,
expires, yeah.
Yeah, it's April election.
Yeah, the remainder of trustee Anderson's term expires at the end of April this year. The remainder of trustee Anderson's term was taken up by trustee Johnson, and then the petitions to run for the next 6-year term, that was due December-ish?
Did you guys announce that? Was that on the website?
We didn't announce anything for that, I mean,
Did they announce anything to the public that there was a
I
term
believe-
ending?
I believe Norwood Neighbors did send out a notification to the community saying that there was a position open in.
Well, I posted on the door as well, too.
so it was posted. Rumors the board intends on trying to restart the fire district. That's, I'm just gonna blatantly say, totally not true, because everything the board has been discussing has been in, we're pretty much starting what we're gonna do with the building. And since there's been no resolution there, I mean, I don't know how this even came up.
Just asking.
Yeah, no, that's how I'm trying to answer it. Statistic and documents from Lake Forest Libertyville never cared about with KFD. We weren't on the board when KFD was here, so I can't answer that one way or the other.
Yep.
Consulting RFD council about the process attempt to break the contract. Again, that has never been brought up.
Okay.
I think the study goes in with the top item here, they're not numbered, but the top item on sheet 2,
Right.
volunteer department, again, not discussed. How will you pay for this? Not discussed, and brought up. Large amount of snow, fire hydrants. There was prior to, sometime last week, I think prior to the second storm we got, I know there was, few individuals, that used to volunteer here and are in other departments, did start I'll say a campaign on social media to make sure, kind of like a contest or challenge, on social media to make sure residents were clearing off the hydrants, and it looked pretty successful from what I saw. I know a lot of individuals, and I think it went up to, I don't know, close to 100 comments or so, 100 people or so, making sure the fire hydrants were cleared off. So the district trustees did not do that directly, but it was done for us indirectly, so that's been taken care of. And the drain pits, I mean, I'm just going to file this under general building maintenance, that's in process.
Just
yes,
want to make
there
sure
are-
you were aware of it,
Yeah,
because if you're not, and it clogs up and you get water and weight buildup up there,
turns bad real quick.
especially when this starts to melt, all of this, and you have the drains clogged up there, so as soon as somebody could get on the roof to the pits, once it gets out of 400 degrees below zero, and thaws, it's probably not a terrible idea to get somebody up there and get those drain pits accessed and cleaned out, so that as this stuff melts off, it melts down the drains and doesn't create, holes in the roof.
Oh, and then one thing that wasn't on
I
here,
didn't
but
have
we
it on here, I
brought up.
wrote down the roads.
Yep, the roads. It's funny you brought that up because last week I did reach out to both Terry and Scott via email. Terry was out of town. She actually just called me back earlier today. Scott replied in an email, pretty much almost mirroring what you said. Is that yeah, they had a whole bunch of trucks down. They're repairing one. Something was kind of going on. I talked with Terry today. This last snowstorm, correct me if I'm wrong, but at least from what I saw, it looked better than what it was at the last storm that we got
I
before
guess
this
he
one.
had a ton of people, present company excluded, that called and complained that the answer of the trucks are broke doesn't hold
no.
water or hold
Yeah.
snow. Find somebody.
Yeah, so,
Terry called me and I said, well, you know, once we're done with our route, there's 5 trucks around my shop. I said, nobody contacted me.
yeah,
I said, so,
yeah,
you
so
know,
I did
it would
send
be an
both of them an
absolute-
email.
it would be an absolute tragedy if someone were to pass away or be severely injured because fire and paramedic could
Yeah,
not
delay in
get to them.
service, 100%.
So my suggestion, certainly run it by your attorney, I would send some type of a certified letter to Scott informing him that it is paramount in the name of public safety that these roads are kept passable for fire and ambulance. Because you don't know, but this guy could give, it's children friendly here, he could care less about the roads in the unincorporated area. Now, it's, you know, and it's just simply not right. My mother's not here right now, she's out of town, but when she's here, she's 82, and I'd be very upset if they couldn't get a fire truck or ambulance down to her house because the roads weren't cleared properly. Sure.
Okay. And that covered most of your points, right? They were good?
Yeah, most of them, you've got the stuff in writing, so,
Yeah.
you know, I think the other things you should continue to address, as Mr. Russ said, you know, openly through, Nolan neighbors. I don't honestly remember getting anything on the open trustee position, other than it was that Mr. Anderson was moving, and they were looking for somebody to fill his term out, but and again, I could be wrong, but I didn't see that there was a posting saying the 2-year term is expiring. If you're interested in a 6-year term for the Rockland Fire Protection District, you know, here's where you get a petition, here's how you file it. I didn't see any of that, and I think that's something that you guys should advertise so that the community knows. When the 4-year term that's currently being held by one of the 2 of you comes up, I think you should do it the same way as well, and let the community know that the term is up, and if somebody'd like to run for the position, that they can do so. That's just opinion.
Understood. All right. 6.
Do you have an agenda, by the way?
What do you got? Yeah, sure, right there.
Marcia, not much, just wanted to let you know, we did file a certified ballot. Amy and I took care of that, and Amy, I emailed it, and Amy dropped it off in person, so we took care of that. Also, I mentioned this last time, the statement of economic interest. I don't know if you got something from the
I
county.
did, and I filed it
Okay,
on my
because
end.
then they send you, I believe they send you something in with the password, to
Yeah.
file online. Okay, so that's due May 1st, so.
On the portion, the one that I always do February 1st.
Yeah, you're kind of given the list of the.
To make sure that,
trustees.
yeah.
They have that
Who needs to
information.
file, yeah.
Right.
I need to double
So-
check, because that, when I filed it, it still, either said it was under review, but I sent an email with PDF and everything, but I can go back, log in, and make sure it accepted it.
And so the deadline for each of you individually as officers would be first. So you handle the first part of it.
Yeah, okay.
And then, I know we mentioned last time, the next item we have up would be the budget appropriations ordinance, which we will be, the fiscal year, you have to do it in the first part of the fiscal year. And our new fiscal year will start May 1st.
Usually we do preliminary into the June meeting, and then we'll have the budget hearing and pass the final appropriation at the July meeting.
That is it?
Cool. Carl?
Okay. For the treasurer's report,
You go, tell me what page we're on. Paul.
we're gonna do the balance sheet. So as of January 31st, the checking account balance was $359,400.88. The reserve account was $311,155.92, and petty cash is $112.49, giving total assets of $670,669.29. On the budget, we are 9 months in, so 75%. We've received just about all of our revenue. Obviously, we'll go, I think, one more payout from the county, and on the Illinois Department of Revenue, I do actually have a check for just under $2,000, which is about what we're still expecting there. I just made the final of the 4 payments on the service contract, so we are 100% paid on that. Building operations, building maintenance, obviously we have money. I know you've got out of a bunch of stuff to take care of. We've talked about the elevator and,
Yep.
all the other, the generator, all the other stuff, so we are budgeted for that. Mortgage is obviously tracking exactly what it should be. We paid the 2 mortgage pay down payments for $50,000. And then utilities will run at about 51%, so we're well below. We have not billed Lake Bluff yet, so.
Yep.
And then on administration, same thing. Education, we got money, again, so that you can take some of the classes that are available. Legal, we're doing pretty well. We're at 47%, more than 75%. Office expense, 31%. And salaries will bill out at the end of the year. So there again, we're at about 32%. And there's, say everything, but the insurance was paid up front, so it's 100% paid off, and it was budgeted. Yeah, so we got, it came in less than what it was budgeted for. So that is the status of the budget.
I just had a question, the facilities rental, was that the parking lot rental? $100, what was that?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, that was from the people over there,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, when they were paving their.
Yeah,
that's what-
yeah.
yep.
I couldn't remember, because I didn't see it before, so I wanted to ask about that. Okay.
Yes. So we'll do a motion on the
That's
treasurer's
good.
report.
Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second,
And roll call vote, trustee Bernstein,
yes.
trustee Malinowski, yes, and trustee Johnson is absent. number 8.
Okay, the warrants, checks to approve. We've got the mortgage for $7,500, the gas bill was $376, the electric bill was $516, legal was $750, phone and internet $186.18. The Costco card is $31.35, and that was for the hinges and the graffiti removal, so we could reinstall that door. Okay, and then City of Lake Forest for $124,000. And then sewer is $13.49 for total expenditures of $133,373.47.
I'd like to make a motion to approve outstanding invoices in the amount of $133,373.47.
Second,
And trustee Bernstein,
yes.
trustee Malinowski, yes, and trustee Johnson, not present.
And I have one more an invoice that I always ask the board to approve prior to payment. This is for Nextword Communications for the website and various communication services for $350. And again, full disclosure, this is my wife's company, so that's why I like to get, before I pay it, to have you guys approve it.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. Motion to approve Nextword Communications payment in the amount of,
$350 for the annual service fees.
Second,
all right, roll call vote, trustee Bernstein,
yes.
trustee Malinowski, yes. Got that one, Jim?
Yep.
All right. Performance analysis update, I believe this was trustee Johnson's, him being on duty today. I think we'll postpone this one till next meeting. And then number 10, IGA statement, IGA state Medicare funding and ambulance billing. That's something you and Chris were working on, Jim, or was that what we had, posed the question to the chiefs? Is that?
Yeah, we've talked about this, so I think we should probably take that off the agenda.
Yeah, okay.
There's nothing for the district per se to file, and I know we talked with the chief.
Yeah,
about it.
so it's all on them, and sounds like more fun for your,
Oh, yeah.
Take that off the next one then.
yeah, unless for whatever reason Chris wants it on there, but I think we're good with it.
Okay.
Number 11, discussion action on lease or sale of Rockland Fire Protection District building. So I know I had a task to contact Lake County zoning. I did get info. I did talk with, what was his first name, Eric Took at Lake County zoning. So yes, we would need to have the building rezoned, obviously, as is. Nothing can lease the building in any sort of commercial aspect. So us being currently R3, more than likely would be rezoned to general commercial, which we're bordered on to the north and south. Eric sees no issue with it getting rezoned, or no issue, no hurdles with the rezoning if the board were to go through that process. Process takes about 3 to 4 months, a lot of other boards, a lot of other bureaucracy, for an expense of about $3,000. He did mention that more than likely, I don't remember which, I believe it would be the Public Hearing, Planning, and Transportation Committee. I believe that was the committee he mentioned, would more than likely not push the paperwork forward unless there was an incoming tenant, unless we knew what the use was. So to get it rezoned, just to get it rezoned, probably wouldn't go forward. Let's see, what else?
Even if you had an interested purchaser?
I'm sorry?
Even if you had someone interested in purchasing the building?
So if there was an interested purchaser, if there was an interested party with a known intent for use of the building, then that would go forward to the committee.
I don't,
If there,
sorry.
no, go ahead, Mr. Rogers, go ahead.
I don't believe that's 100% accurate. GC is GC, general commercial is general commercial. You could go ahead and apply for general commercial zoning right now with no tenant in place at all, and general commercial is general commercial.
No, I understand,
So
but this is
you
straight,
wouldn't- But you wouldn't need, I know Eric Took, and I would actually talk to Eric Wagner, who's the head up there, and you could apply and go through the process immediately to become general commercial, and you'd be approved because you have it on either side of you.
so that's what I was thinking too, but like I
And
said,
then
in
once
speaking
you're
with
general
Eric.
commercial,
Yep, Mr. Rogers, please. So, in speaking with Eric, that's exactly what I got from him. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the process. It did seem a little bit funny to me that, okay, yeah, we are a board of general commercial. Why wouldn't the planning committee just go ahead with it unless they knew what was coming in? I agree, that didn't make sense to me, but this was straight from the horse's mouth with contact that, I called around to the county. I can absolutely reach out to Eric Wagner. I think I've actually talked with him before.
and just to follow up on that, because I did that. I rezoned my property, general commercial, and I don't have any plans for it at this point, but it's rezoned general commercial. So I
The
just-
nursery property?
No, the property behind the, Puck's Pub, that residential lot
Yeah.
is, I applied for general commercial, I went through the hearing, and they approved it.
Okay.
So it's,
Yeah, this was the information I was given, so I'm just reporting it.
yeah, all you're doing is asking for a zoning change, and I would think they would streamline this through. I mean, this is about as general commercial as you would ever get, so
Right.
that would be good to have regardless.
So that's the information I have as far as that goes.
So does the board have any interest in pursuing that?
Honestly, I personally don't think so. Well, I don't wanna say that.
But I guess why wouldn't you?
Without, Mr. Rogers, please. The public comment's over.
Yeah.
If you wanna have additional comment, please raise your hand. I'll more than likely allow you to speak, but I don't appreciate interruptions.
Gotcha.
No, I do wanna go back. It really hinges on what IDOT's doing. That really is the big question here, and I hate defaulting to that. Without having more information, I mean, we're getting to the point, I think, a few meetings ago, I reported on what was his name? Was it Mike?
It's Mike.
Mike. Whatever Mike reported back to me, I think we're getting about to the point where they should have more info, their revisions should be going through or not going through. So pending that conversation, I don't wanna make a decision one way or the other. Let me just put it that way. Not that I'm not interested, but don't wanna make a decision one way or the other. That's my personal opinion. I don't know, Trustee Mercy, do you have anything else? Obviously, you can ask Christopher Johnson.
Does rezoning affect what IDOT would do?
More than likely, no, but it's an expense on the district. Mr. Rogers.
So again, just from going through this in the neighborhood, to have this rezone general commercial does nothing but behoove you. Regardless of what occurs, it was probably more of a snafu or an oversight by the county, not giving you general commercial because the fire department been here so long with everything general commercial on either side. Having its own general commercial just gives you more latitude in what to do. It's certainly not gonna be a home, so the only other thing it could be used for without the general commercial zoning would be governmental use. So it 100% behooves the board, the citizens, the taxpayers to have this building zoned general commercial. And I don't think you'd get any objection to it because it borders 41 and you have general commercial on either side. So I would think as a board, it would be a plus for you guys to have it. Just opinion, and you know what opinions are worth.
Well, we're not gonna go into that, but
Well,
yeah.
I'm just saying, and you
Yeah.
can check with your attorney too, I mean,
It does
regardless of what we
bring
say.
up a couple questions, that I didn't ask Eric at the time. Well, the way it was kind of phrased, what I got from Eric, I wanted to know the potential tax implications of rezoning. And he said he obviously couldn't give me a clear direction as to contact Shields, tax assessor, which, haven't done that yet. I just spoke with Eric, I think he finally got back to me last week.
I'll see him in the morning, I'm happy to ask
The
him.
rezoning wouldn't impact.
Until there's a use.
Right, until there's.
That's kind of what I got from
It's still the
Eric.
fire department's property,
Yeah, that's what I got, that's kind of what I
What
understood.
is the zoning right now?
Here,
R3,
R3.
Okay.
which again was an oversight. on the county's part, when they went through rezoning in the county, they should have just automatically bumped this to GC, because everything is GC.
Everything else, yeah.
Who
the
would
north and
have
south.
residential 3 on Highway 41?
Right.
You know, the ZBA would take one look at this and go, here, sign here. I mean, you're not even gonna get an argument out of them. And thank you for allowing me to discuss it with you.
Yeah, no problem, Dan, no problem. So that's what I have as far as that goes. I will reach out, or have, you're gonna be telling my
Scott?
sister, yeah, have Scott, send me an email, or, you got my number, I think, if not, I'll give it to you.
How do you want me to contact you?
Like I said, email or phone, whatever.
You tell me.
Email will probably be best, because if I have
Go ahead.
a day job. It's mmalinowski at Knollwood Fire.
Well, M-A-L,
INOWSKI at knollwoodfire.com. Yeah, just to confirm that, but that's my understanding from the two. So, yeah, we can go.
And that would just
get more
behoove you.
info.
should you decide to sell it, then it's already rezoned and there's no
No other additional hurdles to jump through, right?
Right, and correct me if I'm wrong, they could sell it with R3 and it would be up to the Joe's hot dog stand to go get his own rezoning. If you
Yeah, a
sell,
lot of
Yeah,
times,
but no one would purchase it, it'd be subject to zoning.
Yeah.
understood, but
they
I'm saying.
contingent on a zoning
Yeah.
change, that's typically what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Right, so may as well, check that
And
one
that
off
gives
the
you an
list of things
opportunity,
to
then
do.
you could lease it if you do rezone it.
Yeah, but it's all a timing thing, pretty much, what I got from Eric, seems like the process, depending on when it starts, depending on what, which committee is coming up next.
And there's
Where
a
they're
series
at.
of notices,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
sure Dan
yeah.
went through that, you have to give public notice.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
it-
what kind of creates.
Looks
the-
like 3 to 4 months, so, for that process. But that's the info I got as far as that goes. Any questions? Moving on, 12, IDOT improvements, nothing yet. Reach out to Mike here in the coming weeks. As I mentioned earlier, I think that time frame from when he last gave us a report out is coming up. So hopefully he has some updates for us there. Number 13, other items as may be lawfully brought before the board. Nothing really exciting via email. As I mentioned earlier, I did receive, I'll say, comments from neighbors and residents regarding the state of the roads. I did reach out to Scott and, just forgot her name, Terry, at Shields Township regarding the roads. And, yeah, like I said, this last go-around, the roads did seem to be cleared quicker and better than the previous snowstorm we had. If I'm mistaken, or if I just happen to be the lucky guy on Safford that had my roads cleared fairly quickly, let me know. How was that concerned?
It's in the village.
Oh. How was your road this last go-around?
Okay,
Just okay? Better than before? No?
kind of
Worse?
the same.
About the same.
You notice, in front of my place was salted because
Well.
I salted it.
I'd be
That
yeah.
gave you a launching pad to try to make it up the rest of the road.
That's the first time I didn't put snow tires on this time, but yeah, that was fun. I'm sure you heard me.
I did, I wondered, I thought somebody was in the ditch, to be honest with you.
No, I'm luckily I made it out of there. That was the first day I was going back to work. I had to go to the office on that Thursday. So, but that's all I have.
Okay, I've got one.
As far as emails, Amy, got anything?
The district's radio license with the FCC expires at the end of March, and I'm assuming that you have no real reason to want to redo it.
I don't think so.
I mean, it would just, I don't know what it costs, there would be a fee to do so, but I don't see why you need to have, we don't own a transmitter.
We don't have the equipment, right?
No, it's all gone.
Yeah. I don't see a reason to renew. No? Yeah.
When does it expire?
March 6th. WNVR 660.
No.
That's it.
Good. Anything?
Second.
And all those in favor say aye.
I'd like to know